Hi again, everyone. This video is sponsored by contribution from Kathy, and this is a sponsored video for someone else who wants to remain anonymous. And here's her story. I have been with my partner for over 17 years. Mother-in-law has always been a bit selfish and controlling, but nothing too sinister. That is till the arrival of our firstborn 3.5 years ago. When the baby was 3 months old, mother-in-law decided she didn't want to wait any longer for unsupervised access to him and started to turn progressively nasty. All done in a way that my partner couldn't see it, but I definitely felt it. When I told my partner, he'd tell me I was imagining things, so I gave up telling him and just kept taking it on the nose. Father-in-law soon joined in the digs and passive-aggressive behavior, and I would dread spending time with them. They would do things they knew I didn't like with my son to get a rise out of me, like allowing their dog to lick his face and give him tastes of alcohol. They would never ever pass him to me, always to my partner or each other. If he hurt himself or tried to reach for me, she'd hold him so close that he couldn't. They've been known to run off with him when they knew I had separation anxiety from a traumatic birth. Then they go to my partner and say, "Oh, we think we accidentally upset her today. We didn't realize it was still an issue." So if I did say anything, it looked like a big misunderstanding. The longer it went on, the more I felt that even when I was ready to leave my baby, I didn't ever want to leave him with them as they'd killed all trust. Before my son was born, we stupidly agreed to move to another county with them, and were to rent their holiday cottage with the possibility of buying in the future. Yeah, right. By the time they had sold their house, my son had arrived and was a year old. I tried to back out of the move, but it caused friction between me and my partner, and his sister had already backed out and decided to move to the other side of the county. Now I know why, which broke mother-in-law's heart, so I backed down and went. Originally, they wanted us all to live in this big barn complex together, but we said we wanted our space, so they offered us the cottage 15 minutes, a 15-minute drive away. After sister-in-law backed out, they gave up on the barn complex and found a house in the same road as the cottage. Within a week of moving in, it became very apparent that I would be living in a dictatorship. The final straw was when father-in-law cornered me in my bedroom to mock me and make me feel intimidated. I got straight on the phone to the estate agents and got my flat back and told my partner I was going back and it was up to him what he did. Good move. Mother-in-law then threatened to kill herself if we left. After a long chat with sister-in-law on the phone, I found out that sister-in-law had been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and her psychotherapist has said it was caused by mother-in-law. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law had a strange relationship, would make digs about the other's weight, and be quite nasty. Mother-in-law created a sibling rivalry between them. Sister-in-law was the achieving favorite, and my partner was the slacking underdog that eventually turned to drugs and self-harming in his teens. Sister-in-law would compete and say and do nasty things. My partner blames himself for being a delinquent. Anyway, after finding out about the sister-in-law's schizophrenia and that mother-in-law had also threatened to kill herself when sister-in-law had said she was moving to Wales, I had a massive Barney with mother-in-law before sticking to my guns and moved back. We didn't see them for a year after that. My partner was in contact via phone, but I didn't speak to them. In that time, I had my daughter. After a year, they got in touch saying they wanted to move on and make amends, and I stupidly agreed. But nothing has changed. They've only gotten better at their game. Mother-in-law creates a smokescreen of niceness while father-in-law digs and intimidates me. Let me ask you something here. anonymous. Okay, because I know exactly what your father-in-law, right after your father-in-law corners you. Now that's something I know exactly what happened, because that's how my father does things. He gets you in a corner. Same with Virginia. Okay, where is your husband stepping up and saying, "You ever corner my wife again"? See, here's the problem. Your husband is too accepting, because it's become obviously so customary because of the mother-in-law. And when you start this letter as as the mother-in-law not being too sinister, they're always the sinister. The quiet ones are always the sinister ones. Where is your husband really breaking through the fog here? Okay, and addressing the behavior. They're still trying to get us to agree to let the kids, now 3.5 and 16 months, to go and stay with them, but I won't allow it. Sister-in-law allows her 4-year-old to stay for a week at a time. And I'm not crapping on the sister-in-law here, but the sister-in-law is a paranoid schizophrenic. So what she does, okay, caused by the mother, but obviously she can't make good decisions. She has problem decisions. So any decision the sister-in-law is making has to be taken with a huge grain of salt, because she's a paranoid schizophrenic. Four-year-old suggested killing her dad to her mom and said she knew how to do it. Needless to say, sister-in-law doesn't get along with the in-laws either. Oh, the sister. I'm sorry, not the sister. It was the sister was the schizophrenic, not the sister-in-law. Oh no, your sister-in-law. I'm confusing myself. It is his sister. I seem to be the only one that's worked out where that came from. Now I'm in a tricky spot. I'm on meds for the anxiety this is causing me, and if I go no contact, my partner can legally take the kids without me if he chooses to, and he trusts them too much to keep the kids safe. But if I continue contact with my mental health pays for it. We're maintaining low contact at present, but it's still killing me. In a few days, we've got to go down there for father-in-law's birthday celebrations, and I'm filled with dread as their dogs puke after eating. I'm filled with dread as I know this day is not going to be an easy one. It's the first time we've agreed to go down there since we moved back. We've already had graphic photos of their dogs puke after eating a bird this week. I'm not sure it was done. I'm sure it was done as some weird mind game to get under my skin and unnerve me before I even get there, and gross me out even more when their dog snogs my kids. Exactly. That's exactly why it's going. They did it. And that's exactly why you shouldn't go. I really need to get a hold of this situation, as it's making me ill with worry. I know my kids aren't safe around them, and doing my best to keep contact to a minimum. My best hope at any sort of sensible outcome is to somehow open my partner's eyes to them, but God knows how I'm going to do that. At the moment, they're playing him, so we'll see. He'll just seems eager to please. Any advice with guiding my partner and coping with contact would be greatly appreciated. Many thanks. This is what you tell your partner, Anonymous. It's either your wife and your children, or these narcissistic animals who want nothing more than to mess with my head, who have messed with your own sister's head and mess with everybody. Okay? You're not going to convince him. Okay? You're going to have to either make him, he's going to have to make a choice. It's mommy or dad, it's mommy and daddy, or it's your family. It's not in between. What fucking purpose is there to send you dog puke after the fucking dog? And people know how I feel about Dog owners, not the dog itself, the owners. Knowing this is a pet peeve, knowing that they keep the kids away from you, knowing everything, and he still wants to go. No, I don't need to convince you of shit because you don't want to see it. See, this is when the time for trying to convince your partner that to go no contact with their parents is over. Convincing time is over. You don't want to see it. So now it's consequence time. You are not to bring my children around those people. People who think it's appropriate to send dog puke over the internet pre-visit after everything that's happened. They're still testing their limits because it's a game to them. It's a game to your mother, to his mother and father. How much can I push it? Right? How much can I push it? It's giving them the supply. Him showing up there is giving them the supply. There's no, obviously they're not going to change. They're not going to change what they do because they're getting off on it. So your husband's going to have to make a decision here. It's us or it's them, because there is no way to explain this. Okay, but then I would challenge him. What did you say to your father for cornering your wife, who you've made a decision to be with? Not people he can't control, he was born into and has the same DNA as here. He made a choice to be with you. He made a choice to have his 2 kids. Okay? You didn't make a choice for those other people. You're making a choice. The only choice he's making now is choosing the well-being of his wife and children over the family that he had no choice to be born into. There's time for tough love. And if he wants to choose them, then you say, well, then you go there without the children. And you call the police and do whatever you got to do. And if that means taking the kids and moving back to where you got to go, then that's where you got to go. Because let me tell you what's happening with your in-laws when you're not around. Okay? The brainwashing. Okay? The fishing for stories that they can use against mommy. Oh, mommy's on anti-anxiety medication. Oh, well, you can't believe her. She's crazy. The gaslighting. And what it is now is why they're so, because she wants to get them young. They want to get them young. Okay, they want to plant those seeds so then she can turn your own children against you. That's what's going to happen. And you need to nip this right in the butt right now. You need to tell your husband, we ain't going anywhere, guy. You need to make a decision, son. You wanna be your mother's son husband, or you wanna be my husband? Make a choice right now, because it ain't gonna be both ways. And that is how you would handle that. So I know it's harsh. I know it's confrontational. I know it might be difficult to do, but it's the only way it can be done. You have to do this because he's not going to see it on his own. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. Okay? But you know what you could do? You could stop taking him to the fucking water. And you don't necessarily have to feed the motherfucker anymore either. You understand? You don't have to give it its supply. You don't. So, thank you again to Kathy for sponsoring the story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Anonymous for sending it in. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, or you'd like to sponsor a video for someone else, set up a Skype chat, private phone call, or private video, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also remember to like and share this video where you can. Click the subscription button to my channel if you haven't, and click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. If any of that is unclear, I'll wait for the final link to pop up, and that is the instructional video to my channel. It'll tell you how to do all of that. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Bye.